Finally, Celtic are back after what has felt like a long international break as we take on Dundee at Celtic Park. Ahead of the clash, we do have a few bits to go through that includes Michael Beale still rattled by the result prior to the break. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Over the years, Celtic have had a long list of talented Scottish players. Things are no different right now, with the likes of Callum McGregor and Greg Taylor regular starters for the Hoops. This certainly helps in Europe with the homegrown quota that is required, and according to Brendan Rodgers, having a core of players from the country of the club is useful. He said, "It is a big quality having that Scottish mentality around, players who know what it's about like Callum McGregor and Greg Taylor and James Forrest. That identity is very important." One imagines Celtic having a main core of Scottish players will only continue through the years. As long as Rodgers is at the helm, it in all likelihood will. If I worked in Spain, I would want a Spanish core of players. When I work in Scotland, I want a Scottish core of players who understand what it's about. Although some players of Celtic Scottish players may not be up to the mark and key first team players, there are a select few who are. The Irishman will be keen to keep the likes of McGregor and Taylor around at the club for the foreseeable future, going by what he has said. In addition, Rodgers won't be stopped from bringing in fresh Scottish talent, although he has revealed no one has caught his eye thus far. He said, "I haven't been back long enough to be honest. It was similar to when I first came up. I remember John McGinn being mentioned and a few others." Over the course of his second stint in Glasgow, there will most certainly be a few more Scottish talents who emerge and may capture the Hoops gaffer's imagination. For now though, he'll be focused on getting results, starting with Dundee on Saturday. While Celtic will be keen to build on the triumph before the break this weekend, the mood in the camp is one of optimism and focus. In stark contrast, Rangers manager Michael Beale seems to be dwelling on the past rather than looking forward. During a recent press conference for Rangers' upcoming match, Beale couldn't resist taking a jab at the match officials from the Glasgow derby. Speaking to PLZ Soccer, Beale laminated to the media that Kemar Roofe would have netted twice in as many games if the referees had been more competent. He was alluding to the disallowed goal following Dessau's illegal challenge on Celtic's Gustav Lagerbilk. The discourse surrounding the particular incident has been peculiar to say the least, and reeks of desperation from the Rangers camp. While some pundits and journalists have conceded that it was a foul, they paradoxically argue that VAR shouldn't have intervened. It's an utterly baffling stance, and yet here we have Beale audaciously claiming it wasn't a foul on Lagerbilk at all. Celtic ran out 1-0 winners in the end with an outstanding strike from Kyogo. Beale's position at Ibrox is increasingly precarious, with the international break doing little to quell the swirling rumours and growing discontent among his own supporters. But rather than taking responsibility, Beale seems to have mastered the art of deflection and finger pointing. It's a strategy that may serve him well in the short term, but one has to wonder how long he can keep it up. So as Celtic look to extend their winning streak this weekend, it's clear where the focus and the pressure truly lies. The transfer window may have closed 2 weeks ago, but a new signing has just come through the door at Celtic B side. Liam Bontig, who played for the boys as a trialist in pre-season, has officially been announced as a new Hoops player. Signing a 3-year deal at Parkhead, Bontig is an 18-year-old and predominantly a central defender. He most recently played for Australian side Western Sydney Wonders and was spotted by Celtic whilst on tour of the UK with the Australian schoolboys football team. Bontig has taken the number 75 shirt and is available to play for Celtic B in competitions such as the Lowland League, Premier League International Cup and UEFA Youth League. The player himself appears to be extremely excited about the move, saying it was some feeling when he initially heard of the treble winner's interest in him. Over the coming weeks, Bontig will be keen to make his official professional debut for Celtic B. An away match to West Ham in the Premier League International Cup may provide the Australian defender with the ideal opportunity to do so. Former Celtic fullback Mark Wilson recently voiced his thoughts on Brendan Rodgers' preference when it comes to selecting defenders for pivotal Champions League matches. He highlighted that Rodgers seems to view Liam Scales as a more trustworthy option compared to Alexandre Bernabei. Liam Scales showed his worth with an admirable display at left centre-back during Celtic's recent 1-0 triumph over Rangers at Ibrox. While Scales is confirmed to be in Celtic's lineup for the Champions League, Bernabei has been excluded from the roster for the prestigious European tournament this season. Wilson pointed out that Rodgers seems to be setting the stage for Scales to play a significant role in the Champions League, with the possibility of Nathaniel Phillips joining the squad. Speaking on Clyde One Radio, Mark Wilson said, "Brendan Rodgers had a look at Bernabei. I have never been Bernabei's biggest fan, and Brendan Rodgers is in a position now where he has been left between a rock and a hard place. I think he sees Scales as a more solid out-and-out defender who will be more reliable in games where you are coming under serious pressure than Bernabei. Scales is also a good option to have because of his versatility, with Celtic short at the back. They are only one injury or a suspension away from Scales having to move back to the centre. Brendan Rodgers confirmed on Thursday that young winger Lila Barda will be facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines. The Israeli internationalist, who recently signed a new deal at Parkhead, will be greatly disappointed that he is going to miss a sizable chunk of the season. Indeed, such frustration was mirrored by Abada's gaffer, who thought his injury could have been avoided. Rodgers said, "To be out with something that you can actually control is a frustrating thing. Control as in don't do the shooting exercise at the end of training. I had this before with a young player, Sousa, who plays at Sevilla. When you fly and then you land and go out to train and your legs are still full of pressure from flights, so when you are shooting and doing repetitive exercises, that puts strain on them." Still only 21 years old, Abada has a wealth of time to recover, and hopefully the injury won't affect his career in the long term. The Hoops boss admitted, though, that this period on the sidelines could be a benefit to him. It will be a good learning for Lyle going forward. Everyone involved with the Scottish champions will hope Abada can recover in the quickest time possible. Although his absence provides chances for others, according to Rodgers, he said, "It is what it is. There is an opportunity now for someone else to come in." Out wide, the likes of Yang, Luis Palma and potentially even Rocco Vata will be eager to step in and fill the void vacated by Abada over the coming months. Although the injury is predominantly negative for the Celts, it could help players such as the aforementioned thrive with more game time. According to Hamid Al-Balawi, an insider at Al Ittihad, Jota, the Portuguese winger, would have eagerly returned to Celtic given the dismissal turn of events in Saudi Arabia. However, with most of the transfer windows closed, Jota's options seem limited. As the final day move to Turkey approaches, Fenerbahce has reportedly shown interest in Jota. The UAE Pro League remains another potential destination for the out-of-favour player, with a loan move possible. Earlier, Jota left Celtic for Al Ittihad in a lucrative £25 million deal, with prospect of playing alongside football stars like Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante. However, his excitement was short-lived as he found himself excluded from the squad for the upcoming season, leaving him with no chance representing them on the field. While speculations about a return to Celtic Park did arise, no tangible offers materialised, leaving Jota in a challenging position in the Middle East. Al-Balawi commented on the situation. "The player would not have hesitated to return to Celtic, but cannot choose that option. Now we have Fenerbahce. The departure of Groh is a form of madness. For the team, he is a safety valve. The first choice for managing the club must be find a club for Jota. He is not at the level of ambition." Celtic fans, what are your thoughts ahead of the weekend? Let me know your score predictions down below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. Make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts. We have our Brendan Rodgers Pope t-shirt and our Celtic Ultra t-shirts too. You can find them at celtsapparel.com or just go down to the link in the description. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.